Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello, my good people out there. My friends and non-friends alike. Whoever's out there. Oh, gosh. Here we are again together on a beautiful Monday. Oh, I'm going to stop saying every day is beautiful. I'm tired of it. But every day is beautiful. I can't help it because I really want people to be positive, even though it is what it is, you know? But this is what we do here on Operation Status Quo, ladies and gentlemen. We play a little bit of mental ping pong. I mean, that's what I'm doing anyway. I say one thing and then I say the other thing. Then I say one thing and then I say the other thing. It's like, it's confusing even to myself. How we doing out there? I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. It's great to see you here. I'm happy to be here with you guys out there. As we do, been kicking off another week. My goodness gracious, as we move through October here, and man, I'll tell you, the end of the year's coming up quick. It's gonna be the holidays and all that stuff before you know it. You guys getting ready for your holidays out there? What are you doing? Let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll do like a holiday special party. We can do like a Thanksgiving party. Maybe somebody can come on live and like show the food that they're cooking, for Thanksgiving. And maybe we can do like a variety of people, right? Variety of dishes. Christmas, you can do like send in your Christmas decoration ideas or whatever belief system you have of how you decorate or don't decorate. Maybe that's what it should be, like the non-decorating Christmas show, right? And then we'll just show houses that are not decorated. Look, I took the time this year. I didn't see over there in that corner. That's normally where I would put the tree, but see, there's no tree this year because it's a non-decorating Christmas. When's the last? I haven't decorated in a long time. I'll say, especially, of course, being a single guy like I am, it's not one of those things that I really think to do for different holidays and such. But when I did used to do for a little while, put some stuff up back when I was living up north. I would put some things up in my condo back then. But then I got tired. Then I started saying to myself, what am I doing all this for? I mean, I'm decorating all this stuff. I sit here by myself, and then I got to take it all down and put it away when it's all over. So I've just saved myself. We only need it's only for a couple weeks or something, right? So, if I want to see holiday, feel the vibe, I go around the neighborhood and there's plenty of other people there that got kids and everything else that are decorated to the nines. How you doing on a Monday? I am Pete Palma, ladies and gentlemen, your user-friendly host right here on Operation Status Quo. This is a place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. And what are you doing out there this week to create your own flow of quo? There's a lot of stuff, you guys know I'm into some of the astrology stuff and all a little bit. I'm no expert or anything. I just, for fun, I enjoy listening to some presentations on different aspects of that. And, of course, we're going through these eclipses that we just had the one last week, and now there's the one coming up on the 28th of October. So that's like 2 eclipses in the month, you know what I mean? So we got a lot of, kind of change, energy, whatever. I mean, what's going on with you? Maybe you don't pay attention to that stuff and you don't even really think about it. But, when you follow some of that type of information and then kind of apply it to, your day-to-day, how you're feeling, if you are, as I try to encourage people here to be aware of their feelings, and pay attention to things and be, critical, conscious, aware thinkers, if you're doing that, then you can kind of see how your emotions kind of go with the tides of the planetary changes, so it's pretty interesting. It is pretty interesting. And, but it is a time of change, in our world, right? Ladies and gentlemen, as we realize, there's so much going on right now, again, especially, since the past, really since the COVID thing happened. If, otherwise, if you go back prior to that, everybody was just kind of, doing what they were doing, like, heads down and just moving forward. And then this whole thing happened back then, which kind of, really kind of brought, I don't know, which was caused so much upheaval for that one instance that it's basically, kind of shattered, like a shattered glass or a shattered plate, that falls on the floor, and now it's split into all these other pieces that have turned into, nightmares and all kinds of other facets of what our daily life used to be. But today, ladies and gentlemen, is the 23rd of October in the good year 2023, and today's program is entitled Understanding Nothing. And just speaking on what I was just saying about how crazy our world and stuff is today, I kind of, really what prompted this what prompted this idea was I had a conversation with a friend of mine, over the weekend, and this person is a little more. Let me say it like this, because this is the the point of why I'm even saying all this, because of all the labels and the separation and the this and the that, and the different beliefs of what's going on in the world for real and all that type of stuff. So, in today's world, okay, let's just use words so we understand what we're talking about, okay? And I'm not saying right or left, but you have more people, just say the truth community, as it's called, people who, everything from, it's not the real Joe Biden, to we didn't land on the moon, to the earth is flat, to Trump is still president, to there was no insurrection, to, all that kind of, deep crap, that's, the Satan worshipers, that are running the world, and the human trafficking and it's real. There's a whole mindset like in this camp, and then you got I think there is a middle ground, but let's just say for now, then over here, you got the other side that just, totally believe that the world is, this is just the way the world is type of thing. And the people that are in power are the, they might not be doing the best job, but they are the actual people doing things. And, it's not like anything planned, that's the difference, the main difference, I guess. The people on the truth side of things, believe everything's orchestrated more so, planned attacks on humanity to, control us mentally and all that type of stuff. And then, of course, mentally, then they would control us physically as well. Right. And over here, the other side that, that they would call, I guess, if you're using those terms, the normies, right? I hate to say it that way because it sounds, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but, that just kind of believe that the everyday world is what it is and do. So, and there's not like a bigger plan at play, that people aren't working together to manipulate, humanity. It's just out of control, and everything we've been told about science and, our origins, our human history, it's all true, you know what I mean? And it's just crazy conspiracy talk, to say anything else. So you got like these two, groups in that regard. Now, of course, you guys are here with me on a regular basis, so I do lean obviously towards, the truth thing. And but after having this conversation with my friend over the weekend, it really just made me, and I'm not saying it changes my beliefs per se, but it just made me look at it again in a different way. And I think ultimately, that's really what everything's all about. That's kind of what I'm getting to with today's, thought process in the show, is that we it doesn't even matter, first of all, which side you're on, because ultimately it's all one energy playing out anyway, which is like the bigger picture, right? But we get caught up in the narratives on either side. So, but anyway, after having this conversation, this person said to me, "I don't understand you. You're really a nice guy. You're intelligent. You're friendly. You're funny. But you have these like crazy ideas. I don't know where they come from." And I'm just trying to explain the stuff that I said. And I don't even go down like a whole road. Like that's one of the things this person said to me. You don't even believe that there was like, what happened January 6th was real. You think it was fake. And I'm like, well, it is and it isn't. Like, it's, excuse me, I think, big events like that, or even what we're seeing going on in the Middle East, and countless other ones, I'm not saying it's like totally, even COVID, like, I always say fake pandemic, right? But I'm saying, but truthfully, I'm sure there was some sort of bug out there, but it's never just like the way they couch it, and that's another thing this person said to me. Who's they? Because I kept saying, well, they, who's they? And I wish I would have said it then, like, as far as like, well, like basically, because really basically it's about, it is about good and evil. I don't want to get too, like, make it too that way in a sense, but, if you want to say God and Satan, or, a spiritual war in a way, but it's not it's a spiritual war because our entire existence is kind of always a spiritual war in a way, right? Because we're here embodied in a physical that, limits our perception in certain ways and kind of pushes us, we're embodied in a body that has a brain, and a brain is like a computer that's, so it's programmed. So there's such a part of us that is so honed in on that programming that we, it's really difficult sometimes to separate and observe, yourself as to observe yourself observing, in a sense. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like being able to look at yourself and realize how you are perceiving the information by, from what you're looking at. So anyway, so, this conversation with this person just made me think it was a nice conversation. It wasn't like contentious in any way, but I appreciate the challenge too, because I speak on a lot of these subjects and such, and it just, and because another thing that this person was saying to me was, well, where are your facts? Where are your facts? Where are your facts? And I know really what kind of made me realize is like, I'm not. I know I always say this. I'm very open about this. I'm not like a big researcher guy. There's people out there that are always doing deep research and all that. And I do research. I mean, but I don't do research the way, like, I don't come out with I'm just not that way with that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm more like, fluffy in the air. I don't know what to say. It's just me, but I literally have since, COVID happened, I've literally have watched, like thousands of hours of, videos of all types of different subjects and ideas and topics and, really trying to investigate, well, wait a minute, what really is going on in our world? Like, we are just so used to, this is the way things are, and it's hard for people to maybe believe that, there's other forces at play that are actually manipulating. Who wants to believe that they're being manipulated? So it's not a criticism per se. And I like to apologize. It looks like I'm buffering a little bit over there, ladies and gentlemen, but hopefully you're hearing me just fine. Usually the audio is fine. It's just I start jumping around a little bit. It's kind of funny to watch because I'm like, hey, when I'm looking at the screen and I see that I'm buffering, it's like, but and the big picture is, and it's hard to, I guess, put it into words in certain ways. And I know I've spoken on this before a bit, but as far as like all energy is one thing, like God, whatever you want to call it. And, basically there is no like evil, because it's all evil, good, whatever. It's all still part of the whole one thing, so it's really just everything playing out in the way it should. And I don't know, I say this all the time. It's hard sometimes, especially in today's world and the way, things are. I mean, obviously, right? I'm just saying, I'm blessed. I have it good in a way, the way I think and the way I've structured my life. And, other people are caught up in a lot of other things in different ways that, I can't even imagine, so like, I'm always like just like a kid playing, I feel, but it's just like, it's, we just have to remember that it's all part of the one. So anyway, and another like way, just a couple other ways to say it, like, because I talked about this on one of my other shows before about time, and I did a show about what is time and all that, and an interesting, I thought about this too in conjunction with this thought process is like, we keep thinking like time is just ticking away, right? And we're just going, doing. Time is just ticking away. But, truthfully, I don't look, I really kind of see it differently now. Like I really see, instead of thinking that like, it's time and we're always, doing and time is going. I mean, if you really look at it from the perspective that all is one, and everything has just happened already, then you can start thinking of it like, think of like a cake. I used to get this, my family used to get this cake from Trader Joe's some years ago. It was a family favorite for a while, this 7-layer cake that they had, But anyway, I haven't been to Trader Joe's since COVID because they were JOs to me about the mask. So I just boycotted them. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back. I do miss some of my Trader Joe's products. This is not an advertisement for Trader Joe's. It shouldn't be, right? I've been boycotting them for the past over 3 years. But anyway, but they used to sell this 7-layer cake. And if you want to look at time in that type of way, I started thinking like, okay, you got the 7-layer cake, in the bottom layer and obviously up to the top layer, number 7. So I say, the bottom layer is like you're born, basically. The top layer is when you die. And all the layers in between, are the life you live. But think of time this way. Think of time more so that everything is already happened, right? Everything's already happened. And you're just kind of like catching up to it, right? Like it's because we're physical embodiment and our vibration is so slow because of the mass of our physicalness and the slowness of the vibration or the pulsation, if whatever you want to word it, of the energy, so it takes longer to, but if everything was light and sped up, it would all compress, right? Like the whole thing would compress into that one moment. I don't know if I'm explaining it well enough that you kind of get what I'm saying, but I mean, don't look at time as like, oh, that's tomorrow and got to cut, and do, and time's ticking away and that's this, it's not really kind of like that. It's really all just one thing. And you're just kind of like flowing through it as, like it's almost like perceiving a car crash, like, a 100-mile-an-hour car crash, and then you watch it in super slow motion on video. It's kind of like what I'm saying. Like, your whole life is that, all of existence for that matter is that, boom, that 100-mile-an-hour, car crash. And then, you replay it and you just slow it down, and it takes like, 20 years for the car to get up to the wall that it hits at 100 miles an hour, and then it starts to crumble up. That takes another, how long to watch that part of the video until eventually it's all gone. So, and the same thing, another example I use of it is just saying, like, cells in the body. We're all cells in the body, right? I mean, each of us as an individual expression, is a cell in the body, right? And so it takes all of us and just the frequency that we vibrate at. And that's the other thing too. It's like, this will get back to what I'm kind of saying, because when I was asked, like, where are your facts? And, and I was trying to explain, listen, I'm not actively choosing to be some kind of crazy conspiracy person and say all this, like, what I'm saying is I'm looking at a lot of different information, like, over the course of years, and this is what has come to me. This is what has vibrated with me. And even stuff that I found out now, I still feel how much it resonates to ideas and thoughts I had, like, when I was a kid, like, before I even got to really, this space of craziness in my brain, and so, like, and each vibration, the cells in the body, like I'm saying, that's why it's, like, so important to realize too. It's not even so much about what you do. Like, you don't have to do a grand, I had to, whatever, no grand, like, I'm like, sometimes myself even, like, I feel like, what purpose am I serving in this world? Like, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? And then you realize it really, it's just more about what are you feeling and what are you emanating, because that's what creates the whole. And, each person's life, we choose our lives. The energy is a total oneness. So each energy is defined, for its purpose, right? And as long as you are focused and resonating, like, in the heart space and living from that space, with gratitude, and not looking that everything out there is out to get you, and you have to, but instead living from within here and letting that create, what is out there, letting life, lead the way, instead of trying to manipulate, life as such. So, and as long as you're vibrating at, and resonating in a space of truth the best you can, of trying to realize that and being calm and, and just being in that space. Doesn't mean being lazy, but what I'm trying to say is it's not about doing one grand thing or something small or something bigger. Like, it doesn't matter as much. It's not as much about that as it is about really being centered, because if you are really living true to your heart, whatever it is that you do in your day to day, you're putting out that vibration that contributes to the whole, and you're doing the part that you're designed to do if you are, in line with your heart space. So I say that, to myself all the time. It's why I try to always stay, kind of even keeled, even though I get certain ways, sometimes I'm human, and, we all have our things, like, just like me, but being on this side of things, more so this truth community side of things, like, I don't want to, like, pound my fist on the table and be like, we got to get these sons of bitches. Sometimes I do get pissed, right? When I did my, show last week or whatever, when, YouTube, whatever, I got kicked at what happened with Facebook, and, and I was on there yelling at YouTube, yelling at Facebook, because I feel like, things are manipulated and whatever. But I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's true. I mean, the thing is, like, everything's true and everything's not true. That's really kind of the whole point. Like, just because I gravitate to this side, doesn't mean that everything on this side isn't right either. Like, listen, the flat earth thing's a great example, because I like talking about it because I think it's a lot of fun. I don't freaking know for real what's what, but my whole purpose of even talking about it, or saying things about it, is just to, like, give people the thought process of, like, why, we hold on to, I'm not saying not to have ideas, but, and not to live based on what feels right for you, but at the same time, live with that. But, also, why not be open to the concept of, the differences that could be? Like, why can't blue be green and green be red and red be black? And, I don't know, like, why are we attaching and labeling? I don't think anything is as direct as that, because ultimately everything is just one encompassing whole. And, everything that is in our day-to-day world physically, it's like, it's just the playground to interact, to align energies, to, I don't know, learn lessons, to whatever, you know what I mean? Cells in the body. Does your kidney cell know that it's a kidney cell? I mean, it just is a kidney cell, and it's just like running and operating in there and being a kidney cell. Your heart cell, your, you know, whatever, lung cell, your cell's just there doing what it's doing. So, and I think that's what we should be. We should be more, you know, because I understand why, right? You're living, and again, it goes back to the conditioning, and, you know, kind of back to what this person was saying to me over here of like, you know, like, just can't believe, like, and this person agrees that, you know, there's corruption in the government. Doesn't even this person who is more, you know, would totally disagree with me in a way of saying, you know, about the pandemic and my thoughts on that, but also believes that the situation wasn't handled correctly overall, you know? So I just mean, like, there's middle ground. And I think it's important for me too. I know I come on here a lot and I'm always trying to present, you know, and, you know, sometimes I do say things like, you know, I really get on a little kick about, you know, the human trafficking, or, you know, and, you know, just some of those ideas, like, you know, I guess what really gets me, why I get that way about that kind of stuff. And again, I don't know the level of truth, you know. I mean, I've seen all kinds of things with the containers on the ships, and how people are stored and smuggled, and, you know, the tunnels underground, all over the place, and networks of tunnels that you can travel. I mean, you could basically travel around the whole world underground. You know, you wouldn't even, somebody can kidnap somebody, you never see them again, you have no idea where they are, you know. So it's just you know, and I guess those ideas, for me personally, right, those ideas that there's people out there who are evil, because there's, you know, it's just the world, there's good and bad, right? So there are people out there evil that do try to hurt people, you know, and, you know, just the idea that exists is really frustrating to me. And then when I think that it's put out in a way that, you know, our mainstream society is manipulated, so it can foster those type of things that they want to do on the underground, you know, like, I mean, I feel like it's like a call to arms, like, as far as like humanity goes. I mean, I'm passionate about that because I believe in people, and I want to see, you know, I want to see people do their best, and, you know, and be their best, and not allow others to, you know, have dominion over their lives. So, you know, because that's one of the things that this person over here, you know, also didn't really kind of see eye to eye, because, you know, I talk about, like, with the school shootings and stuff, and I feel like, you know, it's like these people are kind of programmed to go in there and do that, you know, on purpose. And, like, you know, this person had a hard time kind of accepting that concept of, like, are you, I mean, you can't tell me that everybody's getting paid to just go, you know, to go shoot somebody, or to go do this, or to go do that. And I'm like, you know, I mean, it's so many levels of explanation, you know, and I don't even know. I mean, I'm basing things too on concepts and ideas and things I've heard. I don't know either. I'll be the first to say I'm not an expert. And, you know, if somebody took me up in a rocket ship, you know, tomorrow, and I saw a perfect globe, I go, okay, I guess I was wrong. You know, but until that, you know, I'm open-minded about it. It's, you know, it's all I'm saying. And, you know, and I think it's deeper than just, like, you don't just go up to somebody and be like, here's you know, $100,000. I want you to go into school and shoot up these kids. I mean, these are, like, again, there's a whole culture, society, and I know I'm leaning towards this conspiracy stuff again, but just to say this possibility, you know, there is a whole society, culture living underground, you know, that we don't even understand the level of technology and everything that's there, and what they're capable of, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, why would they not, I didn't say why would they, could it not be, and you say, like, could it not be feasible that they could have, you know, they can be actually raising children from birth, you know, for these type of activities, that, you know, that they're programmed, you know, for that. Like, they don't care, they just know, they hit the button, they hear the keyword or whatever, and they, you know, and that's it, and they just, you know, go do the thing. I don't know, you know, I just want to give space a little bit today. That's why this show is Understanding Nothing, you know, because ultimately I'm always going to have my opinions, and I'm passionate about people and community, and, you know, everybody being their best and all. But it's up to each individual to, you know, whatever, make your life what you want it to be, and be responsible, you know, for yourself and such. You know, I'm just trying to share information and different ways of looking at things. I will say this, I am absolutely sure that everything the way I think it is, you know, not correct. You know, like, even if the stuff in the conspiracy side, you know, is true in certain ways, like, you know, the Bush family, you know, being Nazis, and how they really did World War II, and they were the ones exterminating the Jewish people. I don't know, but I'm saying, like, maybe that information will come out one day. It's hard to look back and, if stuff about, they say, Obama, if it's true, or even everything with Epstein Island and Clintons and if all that's true in the way they say, I don't know for sure. That could be misinformation too, just like misinformation on the other side. So I think it's important to just to kind of leave it at this. It's important to, okay, realize that you're going to have perceptions. You're going to have certain things that are going to, based on who you are. But, always keep it in a space. Right? I definitely lean this certain way. I always say this all the time. I believe that is not the real Joe Biden. I don't know what to say. I can't give you, I don't have a tested, I can't go poke them for some DNA or something and prove it to you, will something like that ever come out or be said? I have no idea. But, I've seen a lot, even with the Q stuff and all. I know it sounds all so crazy, but and I'm not even saying, again, it's just so many levels and there's so much to it of what's going on. But just because I believe that, Joe Biden's a clone doesn't mean, that's the way it has to be. Maybe he really is, in my perception, because we know what you perceive is what you create. And maybe for somebody else, he really isn't. I'm just trying to say, because everything is just kind of in flux and not real anyway. That's the bigger picture of remembering no matter what, between everything that's happened on with this, if you want to say truth side and normie side, conspiracy and, whatever, no matter wherever you want to go with all that stuff, ultimately, any of these attachments and ideas, create, division when we hold on to something so tightly that, we're unable to hear another side, because ultimately everything exists and everything is true in a certain type of way. So, and I think humanity is coming to a place of growth, and what's playing out in the world, how true it is on either side, on what's exactly going on, who knows? But the important part is that something is happening that is getting people to talk about things in a different way, getting people to look at things in a different way, and getting people kind of out of this old system that we were in. So, and I just think that, and not for anything, right? The old system, it's kind of oppressive. Like, you live your whole life just, a slave to a job and all that type of thing. And, it's not easy. So I don't think everything should be just, sitting on lounge chairs all day either. But, that there just should be, I really just believe, and maybe this is why I lean more towards, this side. I just believe there should be a general compassion and care for each other, not for each other, for, the planet, for nature, the animals, our food resources and supplies and, just everything on the planet. And I always talk about reverence, right? That's what really kind of, that's what drives, me, is that anything could be anything, and whatever people want to do. But this whole idea of you're born and you're just, especially, with our economy and system, you're given a social security number, you're given, you got to go to school, you got to learn this their way. And, then you just go get a job, and then I don't know, everything's tight. And if there was real compassion in humanity, it wouldn't be that way, right? We would give each other space. We wouldn't be like, oh, you got to do this by this type of, I don't know. It just wouldn't be so drastic. And even, the stuff that's going on, in the Middle East and all, that's why it gets me. I see they'll come on the news. Oh, another missile hit and 300 dead in a hospital. And we'll be back right after this we'll be back right after this word from Doritos. It's just how could you even put a commercial on of something so? It's right. I'm just trying to say, and somebody else would probably say back to me, well, you got to make money. The TV station has to make money. It's advertising. But if we were a different way of thinking, right? Humanity, you wouldn't even be doing advertising, there'd be no reason to advertise. We would just create and have, things that people use and need. And it would just be natural, instead of why are we always trying to trick people and sell things? Again, this is the nature of everything of existence. It's always going to be, the back and forth of these ways. There's going to be, the pure, the impure, and, obviously we're not going to solve it all, as individuals. So the most important thing to do, I guess, is just to remember, like I said, to live from your heart, live true to yourself, shut off the noise as much as possible, and just let what resonates with you be, and just be kind to those that are around you. That's the last thing I said to this person here when we were talking. I said, really, honestly, I don't know what's true, not true. I said, but I'm just saying, this is what I believe, this is what I feel, and ultimately, all I really care about is, being friendly, being nice, being showing care and courtesy to people around me physically in my day-to-day life, and just living, with a smile on my face and a good heart. That's really all we can do. So I would encourage you to do that. I encourage you to encourage other people to do that. And I think we can really make the world a better space, living, from that thought process, as opposed to, we got to pick a fight over whatever, whether it be politics or whether we landed on the moon or whatever, and just like, science said, and here's the proof, and where's your proof, and that my proof, and your proof, and this isn't true, and everybody's just fighting over all this stuff that, really doesn't mean crap, So it's really, I think all those things are more of a space to say to others, do we want to fight about this, or do we want, is it worth fighting about this? That should be like the stop point. Like when we get to that level, be like, that's the human ego. That's the cue that, I'm being triggered. What is it about this? Why do I not want to be open to, listen? And whatever you don't agree with is fine too. You set your boundaries, you live your life your way. But again, it's not this hate and divisiveness that we see, and inability to communicate, is really just perplexing to me. And I want to give my friend credit, because, through their conversation, this person was very open and, listening, gave me a little bit of a hard time and question, and rightfully so. And I understand, and kind of said, well, you don't seem like you're not interested in the other side. I'm like, well, no, I hear you. You're right in a way, because I am so focused here and I'll want to promote this stuff. And but the truth is, in my mind, I see all this too. I do watch both sides, and, I just don't agree. I don't know for sure. I'm just going to, again, end it here. I don't know for sure anything. All I know is just what resonates with me, and what, I'd rather go down, I'd rather kind of have fun in my human form with this path instead of with this path. That's all, and that's where I am. And, I think everyone needs to make that decision for themselves. So remember that we don't understand a damn thing, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not our job to do it. It's our job to let life lead the way. Let life lead the way. Let's have a real good day. We'll let life lead the way. It'll be a happy day. Hey-o. All right. That's what I got for you here today on Operation Status Quo. I love you guys out there, and I just want to, send the best, because, I'm come on here like every day almost, and, some days is this and some days is that, and some days I'll say more of things and other things, but, ultimately the truth is, I hope this show stands out. I hope this one, I'll remember this one to stand out, is that, like, ultimately, no matter what tangents on whatever, ultimately it always comes back to the center point of realizing that it really doesn't matter. We're all just one, and we just do our best, and let's not put so much pressure on ourselves and others. Okay? All right. That's what I got for you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done so already, I ask you so kindly to please like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. I love each and every one of you out there individually as well as a group. God bless you. Have a great day. And until tomorrow, Operation Status Quo, disengaged.
Boulevard of 10 short blocks.